please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now I will call to order the regular school board meeting of Independent School District number 544. The first item of business is to establish our quorum, so clerk, will you please do so?
Melanie Cole.
Here.
Matt Lemke. Here. Allie Knutson.
Here.
Lynn Danielson here. Steven Bigasaw, absent. Melissa Hermes.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda is approved. And we will extend a thank you to the following people for their donation to the Otter Angel account. This is an account that's created to anonymously assist families that are unable to pay for student meals. So thanks goes to Melissa Reese, Jennifer Rockhold, Thomas Rufer, Carrie Crean, April Scharnberg, Tanya Sunberg, Stuart Schiescher, and all those who donated during the middle school play. So thank you for that. And then we'll move on to do board reports, and we'll begin with Matt Lemke for the collateral duties that you have for your role on the board. Matt.
So the Minnesota High School League, they have not met. They meet in June, is their next board meeting that they will be having. Lakes Country Service Co-op, I have two board reports to report on them. They met since my last one was April 12th and then also on May 10th. I'm just going to highlight a few things. On the April 12th one, we approved the new school renewal rates for insurance at 4.9% increase. That came in well. I think it actually was in a downward. So, and in fact, this is kind of the time when schools begin to start asking for basically pricing on their pool of teachers and staff, and so we've had some that have been asking again to see if the rates would be appealing to them, and some have come in real favorable. So depending on if they decide to move or not, the pool will increase if people decide to come back. And so it was just kind of interesting how the Lakes Country Service Co-op has changed. One of the things that they've again have changed is they're trying to go to more of a state pooling of their resources instead of just regional, and they also are trying to look more into individuals. So for example, if a school district had some high rates at one point in time, maybe because they had some high claims, but their pool has changed and now they have more favorable let's say the rates in the past, to go back and ask again, it seems to be working, that they've been able to get some favorable rates. So as I say, shopping around. So and I think that's just going to be something that's going to be coming more and more, as people are going to continue to shop to see if they can get a better rate or not with different organizations. So that was kind of the highlight on that one.
Matt, excuse me, what
Yep.
was the previous rate?
Of last year, boy,
You know,
I cannot tell you that one. I don't know that off the top of my
That's
head.
fine, I was just curious.
I just know that it's been, I want to say, no, I shouldn't guess, but I think it was not 8%, 8%, 9 last year, I think is what it was, I'll guess. But, so it has been going down, which is good. And the other thing is, sometimes when you look, I shouldn't go into a soapbox speech, but when they talk about when you look at, yeah, I know. Is that when you're looking at a race, or sometimes there's certain organizations will say that you're getting a 0% increase. They of course are changing things within your plan to give you that kind of increase. So either an additional COLA pays or more for prescription drugs or something to that effect. So sometimes it gets kind of changed like that. So anyway, that's what they came in for that. On the May 10th, we approved our budget for this year, and since I'm new to the board somewhat, it's good that it's a balanced budget. Sometimes that they go into more of a negative budget to start with, being the most pessimistic side of things, of saying that this is worst case scenario, and then as time goes on it gets better, as they move on, and so that was a positive on that part of it, and so their finances have been getting better. The other one I just want to highlight real quick, and we probably take part in this, is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. That it's a partnership between AESA and Lakes Country Service Co-op, and just wanted to read real quickly that one of the things that those have qualified for the loan forgiveness program that they are able to provide, on average, 83% the student loan payment lowered by an average of 83%. So, from example, instead of being $691, went down to $112 for a student loan payment back. And the average potential tax-free loan forgiveness is $61,454. So the biggest thing is to make sure that people, and this is open to, there's 3 criteria to it. It's to being a full-time employee on a nonprofit organization. I've heard doctors and nurses have applied for this.
Sure.
And having federal loans, which most people do, if they have to take out loans, you have federal loans, and then pursuing an additional degree and stuff. And so that's the 3 qualifications for it. So anyway, it was kind of one of those neat things to hear about, and something that our co-op is doing, and definitely has a positive financial impact for lots of people. So those are the things I have to report.
All right, any questions for Matt? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports from Natalie Knudsen.
The policy committee hasn't met since our last meeting, and neither has wellness, but I can give a little update of some things that have been happening and being discussed. Our Otter Trails signs should be going up, I would say, in the next couple of weeks. They're being printed as we speak, so we kind of went out and mapped out where those will all be put up. So, and then we've been meeting with Becky Shearer in the cafeteria, and we've come up with some goals for this fall. And a couple of those that I'd like to mention that I think will have a huge impact are serving fresh fruits every day in the elementary schools. So, they'll still send over canned options, and they'll still have some frozen options, but there will be something fresh on the menu every day. And then adding a couple of healthy options to the Otter Valley meal. And those options are already existing, but we're gonna market them in a different way. So just a couple simple changes, but I think will have a huge impact. So more to come from that side of things. And then just to let people know that the wellness committee is continuing to look for representation. So community, teachers, anybody is welcome to come and help steer some ideas. So that's all.
All right, any questions for Natalie? Thank you. For my reports, we met with the Special Education Cooperative Executive Board today, and our primary objective was to approve a great deal of personnel hires. So they had a lot of turnover, and they have people, good quality people that they have on board to start working this fall. So that was a primary objective. Shannon Erickson, the director, does an end of the year checkout with the different staff to get their commentary as the year closes out. So she'll be doing that. And then they'll have a end of the year cooperative meeting, and that will celebrate Janelle Birch, who's retiring after 30 years of being a speech language pathologist. So that was the primary focus on that committee today. And we also did a couple of items that we'll repeat here, one being a lot of personnel here too, but then we took a look at the discovery benefits and flexible spending account, and we'll have that on our agenda too for a similar action. So we'll just get to that later with our own agenda. For Region 1, the technology support group, they're in a little bit of a frenzy because of one of the vendors going out of the business of servicing Synergy, and so they're anticipating about 5,000, or I don't recall exactly the number of students that, from the variety of districts that will be switching over. So there's some additional hiring there to accommodate that influx, so that's exciting. As the Finance Committee has not met, and Activities Committee has not met, and then for negotiations, we're at the point in our negotiations process where many of the groups meet with the business manager before involving the board, and so in speaking with Mark Maston, he indicated that the cafeteria group has met with them, the special ed paras have met, and paraeducators.
Yep.
Yep, and the paraeducators, so 3.
Yeah, and the cafeteria staff is tomorrow, I believe.
Oh, okay, all right, so that's just going along, and of course, the norm is, the obligation we have as a board will be to give an overview and approve or disapprove of it, but we always endeavor to be consistent across the groups when it comes to that, so Mark has that message loud and clear going in, so. That covers my different topics. Any questions for me? Okay, then we'll move on to Melissa Hermes.
Okay, the Staff Development Committee met last week on May 8th, and they're just starting to have some different funding approved for people that are doing staff development during the summer, and that starts on July 1st. That year starts, so that was great to hear all the different plans that teachers are already thinking about what they're going to do during the summer. And then the Curriculum Review Advisory Committee doesn't meet again until October, so it doesn't meet this month.
All right. Any questions for Missy? Blaine Danielson?
Nothing to report on the meet and confer. Nothing in the building grounds, other than just things keep moving along over at Adams with the boiler, and we'll be, school gets out here, we'll be starting on the pool process, I'm assuming. I think everything is a go there, so pretty much all clear on that. And the 544 group met last Thursday, May 10th. And just a couple things from that. They were part of the senior recognition ceremony last Monday night, which was a good ceremony, a chance to honor a lot of our seniors with scholarships and some videos and music that night, so it was a good night. Coming up on May 17th will be the retired staff reunion, as they call it, and that's going to be from 10 to 11:30 at the YMCA. I think they've had, right now, as of that meeting, they had 20 different folks RSVP, so hopefully they'll get a few more yet for that, but that was a good, went over well last year when they had it, so they'll continue to do that again this year. And then Mindy also did report that it's going to be a busy summer for class reunions. I think there's 11 class reunions scheduled so far for the summer, so it's going to be a busy time on the weekends here in town with former Otters, so that's good to hear. And then already looking into the fall, we just briefly brought up that September 14th will be Otter Pride Night, and they'll be part of that. And with that, they put up, they have a little taco feed, and then they also will be putting up that night, they have a board with all the different folks that can apply to help out with the classroom wish list and things like that. So just some stuff coming forward and looking forward to. But other than that, that's what I have from the 544.
All right. Any questions for Blaine? Okay then, Superintendent Ness.
Yes, I put this at your placemat here. This is two movies are being showed on consecutive Tuesdays. Otter Tail County Collaborative, United Way, and West Central Initiative are putting these on, and it has a lot to do with mental health in the community and working with this. The first movie is on Tuesday, May 22nd, and there'll be a panel discussion following it. I'm assuming there'll probably be one on the 29th as well, but it's called Resilience, the biology of stress and the science of hope. We're really in tune with this in the district in the sense that in the fall, we already have ACEs training, which is Adverse Childhood Experiences. We have engaging students in poverty training. We're showing a movie called The Mask You Live In, which is also about raising boys in this culture, about, man up, and trying to get kids to play a role, an adult role, when they're too young for that, and allowing kids, to, especially boys, be boys. In a good sense, not yes, you know what I mean. So that is the first one, and the second one is called Paper Tires. It's an award-winning documentary, One High School's Unlikely Success Story. It's about an ALC that has radically approached different how to do things a little bit different about disciplining and working. And again, another comment is stress brains can't learn. A lot of this is about mental health, stress, how you react to it. How can we do coping mechanisms? How can we work? And really, if I could say one word that helps, and one thing we do is relationships. So good, solid relationships in the school, their family, the community overcomes a lot of the ACEs, but they still need resilience. We all need resilience. But so these I would highly recommend to the community, and these are community invitations. Certainly, May 22nd and May 29th, they'll be at a Center for the Arts, and I'm assuming that there'll be a good turnout and good discussion following that. Next on the agenda here, it's award season. We've had senior recognition, we've had Dollars for Scholars awards, 7th grade honors breakfast, 8th grade honor. We're getting lots of great honors. This is a great time of year for recognitions. Other things coming up among the many concerts, I couldn't name them all, so look at the calendar to make sure you don't miss one of those concerts, because they're wonderful. May 20th is the Senior Baccalaureate. That will be here at the auditorium right in this building. May 31st, we have the ALC graduation at the auditorium here. And on June 1st, it's the Fergus Falls Public Schools graduation, if you will. So there'll be graduates from the Fergus Falls High School located here in Kennedy. There'll be graduates from IQ Academy. There'll be graduates from ALC. Everyone's invited to this graduation, and that'll be in the Gold Gym at 7 p.m. And then June 4th is checkout day for staff. So, and the last day for students now, if people recall, we had a snow day this year, so June 1st is the last day of school for the students. I put another handout at your placemat, MREA. It's in a landscape version here. By next Monday night, so a week from tonight, they hopefully are settling all the differences, and this is too much to go over in a short period of time, but this is sort of a reconciliation. Here's where the governor is, here's where the House is, here's where the Senate is. I highlighted just a few things. The first one is TRA. It certainly looks like there's a fix is in for TRA. People are agreeing on it, and we anticipate that will happen. And that is to have a long-term stability of the Teacher Retirement Association. The second item is transportation, and there was actually an editorial in the Daily Journal today, and it was written by MREA and another person, I forget the name of. And it's about the constitutional amendment that is the talk of do we put it on the ballot that we allow the voters to decide to take general fund dollars and use them on transportation. And in no means are we not in favor of transportation dollars and improvement, but we are not, as a district, we are not in favor of taking this out of the general fund, so then they need to get in line with everybody else. The school district, the human resources, all of these, and transportation is in the same ballgame. I would much rather see a dedicated fund, whether it's I don't know what it would be, some sort of dedicated fund going to transportation, rather than having this districts fight for this all the time. So that's we're not against transportation and good roads and bridges and all that. We're just looking for a different funding mechanism for them. Safe schools, we haven't heard a lot about safe schools for quite a while, because they sort of settled that way back when early in the session, late February, early March. We don't know the exact dollar amount. My best guess is we're going to get $18 a pupil unit, and there'll be some sort of minimum. So schools that are really, really small, there'll be a minimum of 22 to 30,000, somewhere in there. That's my best guess there. Special ed, there will be increased cap at some point, and I think probably in that $30 range, and this is all about helping with the cross subsidy, where we're spending special ed or general dollars on special education. So that I think will happen. There is some broadband dollars in there to help, and that's sort of the highlights of that. But as I was walking in the door and looking, but it looked like it's Governor Dayton. Now what happens is they're all putting in their final plans, and now they get to negotiate, and the leaders kind of hammer out the deal. But Governor Dayton said he's not going anywhere with any other item until they settle the emergency aid for school districts, and that's $126 a pupil unit. So for our district, that's $422,000. Because we spend so much money on the cross subsidy, probably goes to the general fund to help cover the cost of that cross subsidy. So right at this point, we don't even know if we're going to get it, so we don't have a specific plan on how we would spend those additional dollars. But we will we'll be good stewards and make sure that we spend that, because it is one-time money. It is not monies that come each year. So it's not something that you could typically. Hiring more staff, for example, would not be a good expenditure on those dollars, because you'll have ongoing costs for the staff, whereas purchasing something, Cleveland Elementary as an example, have a buzz-in system there where we have just to walk in and talk to the secretary. Those dollars could go there. It's a one-time cost. So those are things we'll look at. So that's my update, and it's just we're hanging on till the end of the year. It's field trip season, graduation season. It's an exciting time, but really they're really doing a nice job, our staff, about keeping focus on education, and kids are doing lots of great stuff in the classroom and staff. So
Great. Any questions for the superintendent? Thank you, Gary. We'll move on to our general consent items. And for consideration and approval in this motion are the minutes from our last school board meeting on April 23rd. And then tonight's bills and treasurer's report. So Natalie, will you lay it on us?
Yeah, we had a lot of bills that we paid this last month at the end of the school year, and lots of construction projects and things like that going on in the last year. So kind of wrapping up some of those big payments, but we did end up still having a positive balance at the end and increasing our funds, so $6.3 million in the bank, which is good. So, all right, pay those bills.
Very well. And then Superintendent Ness, will you highlight the personnel news?
yeah, this might take a while. So we've had a couple resignations. Carla Breen, special ed teacher, and Courtney Weston, elementary teacher, are resigning. We also have had some support staff resignations. Gwen and Tyler Budd, Victoria Telfer, Brittany Conrad, which you'll understand that one in a minute, and Tori Blado, custodian here, have resigned. Now we have the hires. Oh my, there we go. So we have Kayla Cummings is an IQ school counselor. With up to 800 students now in IQ, really need the additional help there. Dan Sternberg is an elementary teacher coming in to teach 5th grade, former graduate here. Carrie Flatto, a science teacher, and RTI will be a half-time each. Christy Lavoie, elementary teacher in 6th grade. Megan Lee, elementary teacher, 1st grade. Derek Hansen, elementary teacher, 3rd grade. Andrew Gorek, PE teacher at Kennedy. Sarah Delaney is an art teacher at Kennedy. Dane Froland, music teacher at Kennedy. Carrie Love Manat, communication arts. David Dirks, PE. Kelly McGovern will be teaching math and IQ elementary teacher. Lisa Schlosser is a special ed teacher. Douglas Stave, special ed teacher. Mackenzie Schwantz, special education teacher. John Schonberg will move from a part-time, about a .67, up to a full-time position next year. And then a change Lisa Jerkis is rescinding her rights of .25 FTE, so she'll be at her starting out at IQ at .5, I should say, and is probably will grow. Then we hired Jonah Hove, custodian, and Brittany Conrad is the new secretary at Adams. So she had to resign from her para position so she could take the secretary position at Adams. So our principals and everybody has been hiring away. They're just doing a great job of making the time to interview and do the good work necessary, because this really is the most important thing we do is hire good people and then get mentors and work them and induct them into our school district. So I highly recommend approval of these actions.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on these items? All in favor of approving the general consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That is approved. We'll move on to new business. And Mark, I think this time I'll just ask you to describe Aspire, which we may add as one of the school district's 403B vendors. So if you want to give us the background first.
The background on this, back during last fall, during negotiations with the teachers, they requested of the school board to rebid the 403B vendors that we have. We had not done that since 2008. We've been kind of keeping a kind of a low, you don't want to touch other people's monies too much, you know, you want to keep kind of calm when you do those kinds of things. So, but they asked for that bid to take place. We then contacted National Insurance Services to do the bidding for us. They had about 20 or so vendors that were interested, about 12 of them submitted bids. And based on a point system that they had developed prior to the bids going out, our current 5 vendors were all ranked in the top 6. So that was very, very encouraging. And then number 2 on that list was a company called Aspire. And Aspire is a little bit different than the normal 403B vendor. If you're dealing with, say, Company A, they have their own agents, and so you deal with those agents that are related to that company. Aspire doesn't have basically agents. They just say, we're here, any agent that's out there, if you want to help deal in 403B, come to us. And so this kind of opens up a relationship for the employees where they can go to a different company and that they feel comfortable with and still obtain a product at a decent rate through Aspire. So what we're going to do is recommend to you to put in a 6th vendor in our 403B to be Aspire. And then it is my belief that many years down the road, not in 5 years, maybe even 10 years, but eventually I would say a company like Aspire may become your only vendor, since pretty much any qualified agent can obtain product that way. So there you have it.
There you have it. So I'm looking for a motion to add Aspire as one of the 403B vendors. So these are vendors that we approve of and facilitate the employees to use for their contributions to those types of accounts. So this, if we add Aspire, it would be effective the 18-19 school year. Will someone offer that motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And any discussion from the board regarding this?
So Mark, once this is approved, now then this is related to the teachers, or they were already, or?
Yes, we actually had an employee committee. The teachers were there, special ed paras, the custodians. They had representatives on the committee, and they helped make they assisted National Insurance Services in creating the criteria. So yes, they will know, and as soon as we get this done tonight, then the word starts to go out.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions or commentary? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. And looking for a motion to approve Lake Country Service Cooperative's Early Childhood Family Education Consortium Membership Agreement. Is there a motion to do that?
I move that we approve the ECFE Consortium Membership Agreement.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, and Jerry, do you have a little to add on this?
Yep, if you look up on the screens here, what we have is, we use Lakes Country to run our early childhood program. And each year, we make the determination who gets hired, how many hours. So if you just look through, Karen Han looks at ECFE educator and so many hours and the coordinators. So you just go right down the line between coordinators, educators, school readiness, and United Way home visitor, and all of that is run through Service Co-op for hiring these employees. So this is our list, and we have one person that is changing, so to be determined, so we'll have to make one hire, but recommend approval of these hours on the board there. And that is in your packet too.
All right. Any other questions or commentary? All in favor of approving this consortium membership agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. And this is what I referenced earlier. Last meeting, we added discovery benefits as an option for our employees to use for their flexible spending accounts. And then subsequent to that, found out that we would very likely do well to create a separate account to contain these funds so that they're mixed in with our general accounting overall. So, hence the request for a motion to create a flexible spending bank account at Security State Bank for the purpose of transferring these funds between the school district and Discovery Benefits, and then authorize our business manager to create or allow the type of transactions with Discovery Benefits for its other clients. So, is there a motion to approve creating that type of bank account?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is it clear what we're trying to accomplish? All right, any questions on anything? Anything to add?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor of creating the flexible spending bank account for this purpose, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. And then, lastly, looking for a motion to for the formation of a debate team effective this fall. Is there a motion to do that?
I move that we form a debate team.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right.
All right, let's argue this out. I apologize for this is sort of short notice, but right now, there's a time-sensitive grant that if we approve this now, we can access about a $1,000 grant out of about a $5,000 cost here for this. I just think this is one of the most transferable skills that you will have as you go on in life here, being able to articulate thoughts, being able to orally express them. There's a lot of writing involved. This is a great thing. We haven't had a debate team here. Mark, did you have it back in the day?
Yes, we did.
Were you on it?
No, I was not, but all my buddies were.
You were on the math team. All right.
Couldn't argue with them.
Couldn't argue with these guys. But I just think it's a great deal that's sort of rejuvenating this at a very reasonable cost. And we have Mike Donahoe is very interested in coaching that. So we have a champion for this. I think I'm seeing lots of head nodding. I can stop now, right?
Do we have interest in the students?
We will they don't know about it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's later in the fall, so we'll have time to generate it'll be the natural, a lot of them will be the speech team for sure. But this reaches others too. almost more of a mock trial in some ways that this adds in, that you really have to articulate your points and do some research and
So
be able
this,
to debate.
will this be something after school then that'll take place, or?
It is a, I believe it's Minnesota State High School League, isn't it, Dean? I think, yeah, it is. So it's an after-school activity, yes.
Okay.
So how are students gonna find out about this, Dean, through the fall before or
Yeah,
whatever?
but I think we're gonna have to do a special effort to kind of get additional information out. We're gonna have to, approach our speech students. We're gonna have to invite students down to an informational session in the auditorium. We're gonna have to do some selling to make sure that we got a good base of students to get this started for us.
Well, I'm excited about it, so we can work it with.
The other question I have
co-curriculars and
regarding the
stuff.
grant, is it for just a certain amount of students, or?
I don't believe so. I think it's just for the formation of the
Okay,
team.
just to start up
Yeah.
and everything, okay.
But I can find that out.
So we'll charge the usual fee potentially?
Whatever, it'd be similar to speech. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So that should offset a lot of the costs. If the more kids we get, that'll help.
Yeah, good. Anything else? All right, all in favor of approving the formation of a debate team for fall, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that's approved. And that brings us to the end of our meeting agenda. We'll meet here, next meeting will begin at 7:15 a.m. on Monday, May 29th. Well, that's later.
Actually, it's Tuesday.
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 Yeah.
It should be
Yeah.
said Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 29th,
Day after Memorial Day, yep.
right here in the Otter Community Room, 7:15 a.m. So, and then the board will stick around and discuss several items, including clarification on the principal contract, renewal of operating levy, traffic study, Envoy, which is a program we are hoping to add to the elementaries, graduation plans, negotiations update. So I have several topics that we will review tonight in our work session. And with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And we are adjourned. Thank you.